dike to prevent runoff and provides an undirected flow of water onto the field, it is herein called a basin. If the basins are small or if the discharge rate available is relatively large, there are few soils not amenable to basin irrigation. Generally, basin irrigation is favored by moderate to slow intake soils and deep-rooted, closely spaced crops. Crops which do not tolerate flooding and soils subject to crusting can be basin irrigated by furrowing or using raised bed planting. Basin irrigation is an effective method of leaching salts from soil profile into the deeper groundwater. Basin irrigation systems can be automated with relatively simple and inexpensive flow controls at the basin inlet. However, basin irrigation has a number of limitations in association with agriculture in the less developed countries. Accurate land leveling is prerequisite to high uniformities and efficiencies, but this is difficult to accomplish in small areas. The perimeter dikes must be well maintained to eliminate breaching and waste, and it is difficult and often infeasible to incorporate the use of modern farm machinery in small basins, thereby limiting small-scale basin irrigation to hand and animal-powered cultivation. Coming to the last method of implementing surface irrigation method, that is border irrigation system. In many circumstances, border irrigation can be viewed as an expansion of basin irrigation to include long rectangular or contoured field shapes, longitudinal but no lateral slope, and free draining or blocked conditions at the lower end. In border irrigation, a field is divided into strips separated by border ridges running down the slope of the field. The width of the strips is usually 20 to 100 feet. The area between the ridges is flooded during irrigation. Border irrigation is used for tree crops and crops as alfalfa and small grains. Let's have a look at the slide. Border irrigation is suited for vegetables that can withstand flooding for a short time. It can be used for all crops provided that the system is designated to provide the needed water control for irrigation of vegetable crops. It is suited to soils between extremely high and very low infiltration roots. In border irrigation, water is applied slowly. The root zone is applied water gradually down the field. At a time, the application flow is cut off to reduce water losses. Ideally, there is no runoff and deep percolation. The problem is that time to cut off the inflow is difficult to determine. This was all about the basic design principles of irrigation system. One of the disadvantages of surface irrigation that confronts every designer and irrigator